In 1984, former Japan bassist Mick Karn teamed with ex-Bauhaus vocalist Peter Murphy in the art pop duo Dalis Car, and from their singular album The Waking Hour, the track Moonlife. Okay, already the unmistakable bass work of Karn, the fretless bass work that he had perfected like on on Tin Drum and continued on his 1982 solo album Titles. Yeah, as a matter of fact, this track so far bears kind of a resemblance to one of the tracks on Titles. And Karn, like overdubbing with some woodwind. Yeah, I believe he plays most of the instruments on this album. Yeah. I'm almost losing count already of the layers we got on. A lot of it just Mick Karn overdubbing. And there's some percussion work played by one Paul Vincent Lawford, who I guess was a Peter Murphy sideman around this time. Okay, voice like no other, yeah. Open your closed door. Open your closed door. Tell me out the child you see. Okay, a guy who had like the unique idea circa 1979 to take the persona of like classic horror movie icons like Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff, and the like, and turn it into kind of a rock frontman shtick. Let's see. The lyrics so far. What guides me through this moonlife? Open your closed door. Open your closed door. Tell me of the child you see. You're the one to dare. Tell me of the child you see. Teach me to prepare. Okay, these are Murphy's lyrics, I would imagine. Yeah, I would imagine that it's basically Murphy having written the lyrics and Karn having composed all the music. One to dare. Tell me of the child you see. Teach me to prepare. I hear those little like stringed instruments that are under that bass, that sliding bass. Midnight all around, eyes closed, the soldiers fighting, a mother's crying. A mother's crying. Yeah, he's got sort of kind of like a, I don't know, an acidic type voice. It's really like a lot of it resonates from like right here. Yeah. Work it out, come tomorrow. We should be prepared. Yeah, he seems to sing right from like his throat, and in that tone. Let's see. The lyrics, where are they going? Midnight all around, eyes closed, the soldiers fighting, a mother's crying, got to work it out, come tomorrow, we should be prepared. Gotta work it out, come the sorrow, we should be prepared. Another matter of objective, another road to the truth, waiting for an answer for you. You're the one to dare, you're the one to dare, huh? It seems like some strife is going on. I'm wondering what movie or book this may have been based on, or... Work it out, come the sorrow, we should be prepared. Another matter of objective, another road to the truth. He's really raising his voice right here, kind of going into a higher note, but I was more paying attention to the complete dropout of instrumentation, save for the bass and percussion right here. Waiting for an answer from you, you're the one to dare. You're the one to dare. Working hard to find the answer. Okay, these they're really trying to emphasize the words right here, I can tell. Let's see, working hard to find the answer, teach me to prepare, what guides me through this moonlife, guards all the closed doors, guards all closed. Okay, Moonlife I would imagine is like someone who is awake in the evening to work a night shift. Moonlife, I guess it could be just another name for someone who works the graveyard shift. And this has to do with what life is like in that vocation.
To prepare.
Hear those kind of Oriental type strings that they're very vague on the instruments. They just say not much is given. It just says instruments and percussion is really all it says in the credits on all the entries I find online. Two woodwinds, it sounds like, and very much he had started some of that on titles, but it would definitely be even more so on Karn's next solo album, Dreams of Reasons Produce Monsters. Okay, I guess I've been hearing, aside from percussion and fretless bass, at least one stringed instrument and like 3 different woodwinds, like an oboe and like an oboe and a reed.
What guides me through this life? God's all the closed doors.
Maybe even a soprano sax.
God's all closed doors. Watches over you and me till we are prepared.
And kind of a tinkly keyboard in there too. Let's see, where are the lyrics going at this point? Guards all the closed doors, watches over you and me till we are prepared, watches over you and me. We should be prepared. The moon, the sun's eyes closed, reflections. Now that's an interesting metaphor. The moon, the sun's eyes closed. As I think more about that, basically referring to the moon as the eyelid of the sun, as the closed eyelid of the sun. Yeah, reflections looming. So reflections on the moon. Did you turn away for tomorrow? We should be prepared. Got to work it out. Come tomorrow. We should be prepared. Take emotions or objectives. All roads to the truth. I'm wondering if something happened overnight in the dark and in light of it, they're afraid to face the day now.
Watches over you and me. We should be prepared.
Okay, did these two people, did the narrator and like his accomplice do something overnight? I'm starting to think that someone died.
The sun's eyes close, reflections looting.
Hear that little high woodwind right there?
Reflections looting. Need to turn away for tomorrow. We should be prepared.
Like the echo on some of the percussion too.
Got to work it out, come tomorrow. We should be prepared. Take emotions or objectives, all roads to the truth. Waiting.
For a minute I thought it said Lyricon, but no, it just said lyrics. The word Lyricon right next to Peter Murphy's name, no way. It's unclear to me which percussion is being done by the guest, by the third wheel versus by Mick Karn.
For an answer from you, you're the one to dare. You're the one to dare.
Some gated effects on the drums.
Working hard to find the answer. Teach me to prepare.
Yeah, that's the earworm of the track, though. The way those two elements come together, the bass line and that kind of oriental type sound. That that being like the second one right there. That. What I really admire is that they found two different melodies to place on top of that bass line. And a third, actually, with that we just heard, yeah, when it modulated right there, then we hear some different woodwinds and. I think what was it? What was the track on Titles that this resembles? I think it's the second song on side 2. I think it's the ballad right before Sensitive. Yeah, I did Sensitive a few months ago. At first the lyrics were just kind of like a jumbled, bit of, I don't know, kind of hazy Vignance, but something kind of came together there. I guess I don't want to spend the next 5 minutes trying to crack the code on it. I'm knowing though just the fervent following that Peter Murphy has. There are probably a lot of scholars out there of his lyrics, and if one of you happens to be watching, leave a comment and fill me in. I don't want to just engage in a bunch of conjecture that might be taking things in the wrong direction. Let's hear another track from the Waking Hour, Cornwall Stone. Now we got kind of a steamy sound, yeah. Yeah, we got like two steamy sounds. We got that kind of high one, and then we got the boom boom, and then that other kind of lower one comes in. So far, I'm picturing kind of like a stationary train in the fog. A station train in the fog, at a station, a parked, in like a foggy setting. Okay, scratch that. This could actually be like at a seaport or something, from a lighthouse in the fog. Heck, or it could be a factory, but I don't think so. I'm actually getting kind of an OMD vibe from this. They used some of these sounds around this time, like on Architecture and Morality, Dazzle Ships, that period. I like that sound right there. That. I wonder how they accomplished that. Good voice when he, kind of emotes certain lines and stuff. It's been compared to some it's been the subject of some strange comparisons over the years. As a matter of fact, my very, 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 very ex-girlfriend once remarked that his vocals on this one song that was playing wherever we were sounded just like Neil Diamond. It was like from a track off his 1989 album, I think, his solo album. Across the painted smiles, come across some faith, laughing at the cruel jokes, laughing at a death, laughing at some other fool, laughing with the rest. Okay, let's catch up with the lyrics here. Come across danger, come across some hate, come across the painted smiles, come across some fate. Um, let's see, I was thinking that, yeah, this is about a location. Could it be? This could be about a location actually in the UK. Because the first thing when yeah, oh, it seems to bring up photos of like a Stonehenge looking site, but oh, this would be like some site in southeast that tip, yeah, Cornwall, yeah, Cornwall, that part of like of southwest England, yeah, yeah, far kind of almost a separate province, yeah, and as a matter of fact there's been, I guess, kind of a nationalist movement in that area. um, yeah, it's a hotbed of Celt folk, kind of, I guess, culturally maybe a bit more like Wales than England. Yeah. This section right here kind of gives me sort of a funeral type vibe. Well, like a goths like to hang out. I guess a goth pastime is to hang out at funerals and. Come to think of it, I once knew of a goth. I met him like once or twice, who I later heard went to prison, turned himself in because he actually went and dug up someone's grave. That's talk about taking things too far.
Found me buried under glass, ain't all shattered down. Buried under Cornwall stones, found me, switched me on.
Okay, underneath his voice, these really slow, open cadences. There are basically two instruments going on. There's like a it sounds like synth bass this time with that, and anchoring that steamy keyboard sound.
The volume, watch me score the goals.
Yeah, there's that synth bass. Boom, 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 boom.
Take a hold with both your long arms, catch me like a fool.
Let's see. Laughing at the cruel jokes, laughing at a death, laughing at some other fool, laughing with the rest. Found me buried under glass. Pane shattered, buried under Cornwall Stone. Found me, stitched me on. Turning up the volume, watch me score the goals. Take a hold of both your long arms. Catch me like I'm falling. A tale of fear and hiding, of lead-in thoughts and spears. The autumn rigor setting in.
The fear and hiding, of leaden thoughts and spears, the autumn wrinkles setting in. On the road, flooding.
I'm also hearing kind of a light, kind of like higher tone coming in. Maybe it's a Fairlight different type of settings. I heard like a flute keyboard setting just pipe in.
Search for glory, bring the girl.
The whole thing has pretty much been in G. G minor. Fairlight toll sounds. Yeah, it's kind of like a Fairlight equivalent of, I don't know, the Big Ben sound. The arrangement, the kind of like dropouts and just like light keyboard, the call and response, it seems, between, say, like an unaccompanied keyboard sound and just a second of silence. Seems to be like an arrangement that goes back, say, to Just for a Moment by Ultravox off of their 1978 Systems of Romance album. Yeah, because I'm also getting kind of like a John Fox, Gary Newman, circa 1980 vibe and play, more like in the composition, the arrangement, kind of. Not so much the sounds. These aren't the keyboard sounds are very different, but. Overdubbing with himself. Oh, now he's creating kind of like a vocal kaleidoscopic effect, like just lines over lines, everything just kind of blurring. A surreal effect. Walk the road, fly the earth, search for glory, paint the girth, feeling tired and threatened, feel neglected strong, living on the outside, whether you're right or wrong. So just different, a whole kind of melting pot of feelings. I imagine this whole approach could be somewhat to music making, layering, and lyric writing could be somewhat influenced by the Surrealists of the 1920s and 30s. I know that Peter Murphy and his old band had quite the fixation on movies from that sepia tinged era. Like, well, I mean, namely like The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which they used an image from on one of their releases. Okay, that might be Mick Karn harmonizing with him. I guess it doesn't really matter, though, the faint voice in the background. I like this. I like the way it just is kind of like slowly fading out, and like all the different parts of the track as it had been are just layering on one another. Yeah, it's like we're hearing two different two melodies played on top of one another that had previously been in different parts of the song. Appreciate the counterpoint between that synth bass and the figure that it's playing, and the that sample, that keyboard bell sound, and the vocal melody. That was Cornwall Stone by Dalis Car from their 1984 album, The Waking Hour, and before that, Moonlife. Yes, Dalis Car, the musical partnership of former Japan bassist Mick Karn and ex-Bauhaus vocalist Peter Murphy. I've heard rumors that it was supposed to be an ongoing project, but I guess the two musicians, both coming into this with very much established reputations, each of them. And I must say, bringing the best of, I guess, both worlds of where they had been together. Yeah, the lyricism and that voice, that very distinct voice of Peter Murphy, with the musical complexity and ethno-exotica of Mick Karn as he had developed on a tin drum, an album that he very much musically dominated. I think, right towards the end of Japan, I would say Mick Karn was the dominant musical influence in the band. Like David Sylvian was very influential, like you could say before then, especially like on the 219 on 79-80 period. Like early on, I think they had much more of a democratic influence, it seems, like with Rob Dean, but not to get sidetracked onto that topic. And so it just it only lasted one because I guess the egos between these two established musicians. Then again, I've also heard that a rumor that the prior years partnering between Midge Ure and Mick Karn for that After a Fashion single was supposed to actually form the basis of an album that didn't materialize. But yeah. Anyway, both Karn and Murphy would resume solo careers quite successfully, each of them, courting their own very devout audiences over the years. For more Rubies and Sapphires from the Dalis Car album, see the directory of albums by English D artists linked in the description below. For Red Hot Tracks and Purples from this album and from there and from other English D artists, many of them, like Depeche Mode, Duran Duran, The Damned, The Doctors of Madness, Dusty Springfield, Deep Purple, Dire Straits, Deaf School. It goes on. And you can also, to follow the other parts of the career of these two musicians, go to the J directory for the Japan discography, the M directory for Mick Karn's discography, and the B directory for the Bauhaus discography. You get it. Anyway. Like and subscribe, follow me on social media, share the video, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the two tracks we just heard, the layers, the lyrics, and their meaning. I'd like to hear a bit more elucidation on that because I could only go so far with that. And the textures and all, what moments stood out to you, the different instruments and how maybe some of them were achieved, since very little info was given on that. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear-traveled trimaximalist, signing off.